Our next guest says cannabis is a buzzkill for beer sales. She's brought the charts to prove it. Let's welcome Vivien Azer, senior analyst at Cowen and Company specializing in beverages, cannabis, and tobacco. Vivien, what exactly is going on? I feel like maybe people suspected this could happen, but you have proof.
Yeah, so we've been covering the cannabis industry for about 18 months, and we currently think that the total industry in the U.S. is about $50 billion. It's just that a lot of it is going through the black market right now. But the industry is gaining a lot of traction in terms of getting consumer support here. Gallup would report that 64% of adults are in favor of legalizing adult use cannabis. And you're seeing voters show up at the ballot box to vote on it.
Mm-hmm. In terms of the impact on other products that you cover, I mean, beer is one. I mean, it's interesting because you cover all these sectors that may actually have an impact if people pick up the use of cannabis increasingly. They may not smoke cigarettes as much or drink beer as much.
Yeah, we view the interaction with alcohol as being kind of the most obvious to us as we think of these products as substitute social lubricants. And so what we've done in our analysis is really look at the interaction between the two categories. We've been able to prove out that binge drinking rates, for instance, are significantly lower in states where consumers have access to adult use cannabis.
Significantly lower by
mid-teens percentage points.
Wow, unbelievable.
Is this something that you see in the beginning stages and then you wind up people getting exposure to it and then people switch and you see a rebound effect? A correlation is not causation, but this you can't argue with the chart that you just showed. That is an inverse correlation. Is this something that we should look for to putter out in a matter of months or years?
No, I expect this to be a longer-term sustainable trend because the inverse correlation is actually the most obvious when you look at the government survey work for 18 to 25-year-olds. So you would expect that consumer waterfall to hold true.
So if you have continued legalization, how much will that grow the cannabis market and therefore potentially decrease the beer or what other social lubricant you choose?
Sure. So we've got a target for the U.S. market, assuming federal legalization of the product, of $75 billion by 2030. We haven't sized the risk to alcohol, but we have been able to show in our survey work that about 80% of consumers do report some kind of reduction in alcohol consumption when they're also engaging in cannabis consumption.
How do you view the valuations? How do you value these companies at this point? And is there sort of a tipping point at which the use of cannabis becomes so widespread that there is price pressure or that production costs, must come down in order to make it viable?
Sure. So our coverage is focused on the Canadian market, where the government is expected to expand to adult use just from medical use today, probably September, October of 2018. So we cover the two biggest companies in the sector. The first is Canopy Growth, and the second is MedReleaf. To give the companies full credit for the market transition, which is going to happen in a step function way, we're looking at fiscal 3 revenues. And in terms of price deflation, we're absolutely looking for that. A lot of Canadian licensed producers are bringing on a lot of capacity, and so we're looking for about 8% annual price deflation at scale.
Yeah. Top picks in the space, Vivien?
Canopy Growth, ticker is Weed, and number 2, MedReleaf, ticker is Leaf.
Okay, Vivien, thanks for coming by. Vivien Azer of Cowen. Tim, your top
first of all,
picks.
congrats to Vivien and the Cowen team, because they've been so far ahead, and they are kind of the institutional acts out there. And what I would say about what you just talked about with pricing, too, if you listen to these companies, brands matter, and they believe that there's going to be a place where this is a very sophisticated consumer product where they're going to hold their margins, and first mover advantage is very important. The other thing that's really interesting here is that Constellation Brands has made, we're talking about the substitution effect, has made a massive investment in Canopy. And so are they playing defense? Are they playing offense? I mean, this is the thing. They know what's going on.
I think they're playing offense. And that was part of when I did the pitch on Constellation. That was part of it because they'd made that move. I think it's a huge move. And obviously the numbers bear out that Vivien put up there, that this is a replacement. I think the speed of this is going to surprise people, the velocity of it.
So does that mean that beer's a short?
No.
When you take a look at Bud, I mean, does that make you worried?
They have a lot of other issues with beer, too. We're talking about microbreweries. How many years ago on this show? So they have a lot of headwinds that are getting in the way of beer. This just seems to be the latest one. But I do think that they are in for a little more selling.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think the substitution effect of the social lubricants is very, very real. And think about the demographics involved. It's, Gen X, Gen Z. I don't even know what Gen... It's definitely not my gen. As in, I just think that there's a lot of folks out there that's the social lubricant they know, and that's what's going on.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.